And welcome back to the Ramble here on Great Scott Marcus for this week, episode 19 on Ramble Entertainment. I'm Scott and that one's Mark. Mark, we're still in it, so this was a kind of a really long topic name, but I felt the whole thing was pertinent. And for those who know it, what you see is what you get, the WYSIWYG. And that's actually taught to us. Yeah, I know. It's actually taught to you as that acronym in communication, and there is a juxtaposition to it, but I'm not going to look it up right now. So basically what this is where do you see yourself in 5 years? And this is a question I feel like not only me, but you have been hearing a lot lately.
It seems like it's a standard interview question anymore. No matter where you go, they're going to ask you this question. If they don't, then they're probably doing something wrong.
So I see that you're applying to be a part-time janitor.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Tell me, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Elbows deep in shit.
And yeah, that's the other side of it, where where do you see yourself in 2 years, 10 years? It's just I'm a lady, and I can say that because for two of my interviews where they did kind of read from a script for these questions, I got that question both times, and it was just kind of well, yes, while I understand that you want to find employees who want to commit.
Yes.
It's just lady.
It's just silly.
I'm applying for a part-time job, and you're reading from a script.
Something's a little off there.
Yeah, this question is kind of undermining. So we'll get to a lot more of this in the main topic for the week, but basically that question to me seems to ask for this: how prepared is your speech? And when you ask for that, how prepared is your speech when it comes to a job, you're not asking for an employee, you're not asking for a person, you're asking for basically a prepared speech. And a speech isn't a person, it's a speech. It's this thing that you practice over and over, and you hit the points and you get the lines, and maybe you have some interactions with the crowd. That is not a person. And I really do feel questions like this are a huge disconnect in interviews.
It's just, I don't know, I feel like in any job that you have, one should always try to aspire to do more, have a better position, a higher position. So, and if it's hard. I think when interviewers ask that question, they want that, but they're also looking specifically for that company. It happened to me once.
Exactly. Yeah. If you basically don't say, well, I see myself here, then it's just oh, well, we're going to go with the guy or girl who said they see themselves here.
That happened to me years ago. I was applying for cell phone company X. I'm not going to say what name it was.
Yeah, I almost did the same. Yeah. But, nice.
I applied to work at this company, and actually had a phone interview. And this is when I was kind of after I graduated. And I was like, what am I doing with my life? And I was like, that would be a really good job to have. Just kind of a part-time thing to kind of really do that while I either go to class or figure out what else I'm doing. And they asked that question, and I was like, well, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure. I'm trying to, I'm going to school now, and I have
get that question in college. Yeah, I'm in college, and I am just looking to make some money, and
And she was just like, well, I'm not going to lie to that. That's kind of a red flag that showed up because you didn't really say anything about this company.
Did she actually say that?
Yeah, she did. She said it was a red flag because, she's like, we'd like to have someone that, would be, wants to still work for this company in that time frame. I'm like, sorry, then I'm not your man. I don't see myself working for you, doing sales and marketing for that long. But I mean, it's when you go into these part-time jobs, sometimes they treat it like careers, and it's kind of weird.
It doesn't fit. And
right.
So I listen to a lot of podcasts because I have a lot of time on my hands. And in the one, they were kind of talking about being yourself in an interview, and if the interview is asking you to not be yourself, then that job probably isn't for you. And I do think, for guys who podcast for a living and are in an industry of entertainment and personality, there is a tiny bit of tone deafness there. However, that does ring true, I think, when it comes to this fucking question because it's just like
that was nice.
Yeah, I had to align myself with the camera. There we go, bam. And it's just that it doesn't connect with the person. It's like, so I've settled into the job, this 2-month job, and man, I look back on that interview where she asked me if I want to be a part of this company, and I very reassuredly said yes, and now that it's 2 months in, man, do I know this is a dead-end job.
It's just like 5 years is a lot of time. Like, that is a lot of time, and like, infinite things can happen, so it's just like, it's just a silly question to ask. Like, if you said, like, would you like to work somewhere else in this company in the near future? If so, where would that be? That might be a better way of actually putting it.
Yeah, and I think that... I think that there is something there. Like, this question shouldn't just be abandoned. No. It's just like, can you see yourself with the company, in 3 to 5 years? And it's just, and an easy response I see myself saying to that is simply, yeah, if there's just room to build and and there's great opportunity, then absolutely, I am very excited and enthusiastic to be here in this interview and potentially have this job.
Right.
But it's...
But where do you see yourself in 5 years? It's just like...
in a ditch on the side of the road, and then 10 years after that, I might be found, and then I will be stored in, basically this evidence locker until they figure out who I am and who killed me.
Maybe next time, if I ever get that question again, I'm going to, like, whip out my phone and just, like, scroll ahead 5 years to the date and be like, well, it's Saturday, so I'll probably be balls deep in a bottle of whiskey.
Wow. Yeah, like, it's just like, oh, well, apparently, yeah, let me bring up the future app here. My mom died. Oh, my... Oh...
It's like, oh my god. It's like, well,
just, you need to give me a second. I didn't know. Well, it is a bit unrealistic.
Yeah.
So,
where do you see yourself in 5 years? Your funeral. Oh my god. How do you know these things? Trust me. Don't go to Japan. I don't know. No.
That you tried.
Yeah, basically trying to portray that I can see the future, and they'd be like impressed. I'm like, you're hired. But I failed at that right now, so I'm gonna stop.
And then the cops came and they took you to jail, and then you called me, and I was just like, I'm sorry, sir, I don't know who this is. So yeah, that's really all I had to say on that.
Yeah, I think about covers it.
Let's go ahead and get into the next Ramble.